So I forgot to record it last week, but Mari bailed us out. She figured out how to get it off of Facebook and put it on our YouTube channel. So
Oh, really? Okay.
Good for Mari, right?
Is the old YouTube channel linked to this one?
Well, I asked her to put a notice. I haven't checked to see that she's done it, but I asked her to put a notice on the old YouTube channel, directing people to the new YouTube channel. So our new YouTube channel is called The Good Stuff, right?
Of course.
So welcome back to The Good Stuff, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. I want to change the view here too. There's so much to remember to do. Okay. All right.
Checklist.
I tried to, yeah, exactly. I tried to make you a co-administrator or something, but somehow Zoom wouldn't allow me to do that. I probably have to give them more money. I don't know. So
ordered a new iMac.
What's that?
But I just ordered a new iMac, and I'll be able to do the calls from that.
Is that a laptop or a desktop, or what is that?
A desktop. I'm replacing my old iMac. I can't really. I
thought you did that like last year. I thought you replaced your.
No, I got a laptop. I got a laptop. I haven't gotten my desktop here at the apartment is from 2012.
Oh wow.
So yeah,
I'm surprised it still works actually.
I know, and I can't really use it to stream this. That's why I'm on the laptop when we do this. But just because of like memory and connectivity and stuff, it's like,
yeah,
it drags too much. So should be able to use that. So.
Well, it was funny because when I came over to Compass, they gave me a MacBook Air, which of course is what my computer now. And although, as you and I pointed out, I came over in December of 2018, so it's 4 years now, which, it's getting time to.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, well.
5 for me, 4 for
yeah. 4 years for me. So my computer is 4 years old, and anyway, so we're going, we did this whole thing where I moved my office into the TV room, and we moved the TV out to the living room, and this whole thing. So as part of that process, I had some issues with getting, we had to bring in a new cable, and he gave us a new modem and a new router, and I had some connectivity issues. So I pulled out my old computer from before I came to Compass, which I have not opened since I came to Compass. And I couldn't even get it to really, I couldn't even really get it to open up, to boot,
Yeah.
And so I put it aside, knowing that Carl, my IT geek son, who's savvy about all things computers, although he really resents that because he's a coder, he's not a hardware guy. And he hates the fact that everybody always, hits him up for, hey, can you come over and fix my computer?
Which is usually you, right?
But
which is usually you.
Well, no, his friends do it to him too, but I try not to. But anyway, I had this whole thing, and I got it out to see if it would help me, if I could get back on it, maybe I could get my printers working or whatever. But I couldn't even boot it. So I thought, well, I'll see if Carl wants it. He might want to scavenge it for pieces, or who knows? I don't know. Because he does that. Yeah. He'll take them apart and and scavenge them for stuff. But so he was over for Sunday night dinner, as he often is, last night, and he actually was able to use some of his coding prowess to get the thing to, at least so we could figure out what was on there. But it was funny to pull it out. I mean, it is so big and heavy and clunky, and I'm like, oh God, I can't believe that I
Yeah,
mean,
you never realize what the difference is, until you go back to it. Yeah.
right? Yeah. And I mean, now I understand why I had a tablet plus a laptop, because my laptop was just too big to haul around on listing
Yeah.
appointments. And I would take my tablet with me so we could look at CMAs and look at pretty pictures together and all that. But now with my MacBook Air, I don't need to do any of that. So
Hmm.
yeah. So if anybody wants an old Azusa, and it wasn't new. I mean, part of the reason why I asked Compass to give me a laptop is because it was on its last leg. So, and the keyboard doesn't work. And, yeah. But if anybody wants to scavenge it for parts, I'm putting it in the garbage this afternoon.
Is that how it's pronounced? I always thought it was Asus.
I don't know. I don't know how you say it.
Oh,
Maybe I don't know. I always say things wrong, you know. I always put the wrong emphasis on
I
the
thought
wrong
maybe Carl
syllable.
told you that's how it was pronounced.
No,
'cause-
I put the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable or whatever. So anyway, so I've been reading this book, Living a Committed Life by Lynn Twist. Have you started it yet?
I haven't started it. Yeah, I'm just finishing the everybody communicates, few connect book. Yeah, just finishing that.
Everybody communicates, few connect.
Yeah, remember the John Maxwell book? We talked
Oh,
about it.
okay, right,
Yeah.
right. Anyway, we were introduced to Lynn Twist through our 6 a.m.er groups. They had her on, I guess it was last year, 2021, right? Or beginning of 22, they had her on.
Yeah, I think she was actually the book, and we had her as a guest. I think, yeah, it was in 2022, but
Yeah, it might have been the beginning of
summer,
2022. And you read her book, The Soul of Money, which she actually wrote in 2003. And then
which is a really great book. I
it was a
think
terrific book. And her
one of the
premise is
life-changing
about
books.
in The Soul of Money is that we all get caught up in this keeping up with the Joneses, particularly in a first world as we are society. You know, we all have more than enough. She says the average, there's over 1 billion people on the planet making less than $1 a day. I don't even know how that's possible, actually. And then 1 billion people live on less than $1 a day, and half the world lives on less than $10 a day.
Mhm.
So her premise is that we all have sufficient. We don't need, you know, this whole first world keeping up with the Joneses. We need more to be happy, blah blah blah. So that's a premise behind Soul of Money, I think, to take your money and put it to use in places that are meaningful to you, where you but now in this book, Living a Committed Life, she talks about, I mean, she tells some great stories, actually. And she tells a story about Buckminster Fuller, who she knew well and was one of her mentors. And that's kind of what got her started on the whole thing. And of course, he had this whole
She was the fundraiser and then led the Hunger Project.
and led the Hunger Project.
decades.
She left them though in the early 2000s, and she's been working on the rainforest, the headwaters of the Amazon, and preserving the rainforest, and has done some pretty amazing things with that. But she said
even just the stories from The Soul of Money, the stories about, you know, her relationships with Buckminster Fuller, with Mother Teresa, with the leaders of these, you know, tribes in the rainforest, you know, every world leader she has been, you know, knows on a very deep, you know, intimate level. And it's just, it's a fascinating read, and I think kind of a life-changing tweak on how you see things. Yeah, really, really good.
Yeah, and she talks about that, about, you know, being an optimist and being her one friend calls her a possibility A possibilityist.
Possibilist,
What? Say it
a
again.
possibilist.
A possible, yes, that's it. A possibilist. A possibilist. And speaking of which, guess what? The
I
sunny
like how she
Chinese.
says too that she calls herself a what is it, a pro, what's the term she uses when she describes herself now? I told she said on our last call that she is a uh well, I just lost the word. She's a proactivist. She's not an
Oh,
activist, she's a proactivist because
uh,
she's an activist for things that she's for and not for things that she's against, which is a
right.
really interesting kind of law of attraction tweak on activism. So I love that term she uses too.
Right. Yeah. Well, I find her incredibly inspiring. She was born in 1945, so she's pushing. Um, she's 78. She'll be 78 this year, right? And here she is. She's going down, tromping through the jungle out at the headwaters of the Amazon, and I mean, it's kind of
Yeah, she's in it too. She's not just like, in the boardrooms or whatever. She's in it.
yeah,
She's in the thick of it, literally in the thick of the rainforest
right.
with primitive tribes who, have, are not connected to civilization. So yeah,
I mean, when I was a kid, my dad was stationed at, we lived in Panama, on base in Panama, in the canal zone, outside of Panama City. Well, we were in the middle of Panama City, the bottom of, but anyway, so I understand a little bit about the jungle. You drop that, I mean, we would say you drop a pencil in the jungle and come back the next day, it would be growing. But she talks about, she had a tough time. She was working for the Hunger Project and contracted malaria, which is kind of surprising to me because I would have thought that she would have been vaccinated against all that stuff. But
well, probably, but we keep forgetting that vaccination doesn't mean that you can't still get it. So
well, that's true.
Beth brought
That's
that
true.
up the other day too about some other things that it's like, they're not, the inoculation versus the vaccine versus the cure, all that stuff. It's all different, but that doesn't mean you can't still get it. You're just
Right.
not.
Well, anyway, she got very sick, and it actually took the doctors a while to figure out what she had. And she was so sick that, of course, malaria will kill you. You can go into a coma and die. But she was so sick, she literally couldn't get on conference calls. She couldn't get out of bed. So as a result, the Hunger Project, who she worked for over 20 years, ended up finally replacing her, finding somebody to replace her. Look at that, Wes, the sun has come out. The sun,
No way
yay!
of doing.
I know, right? I can't believe it. Anyway, so she when she finally was well enough to go back to work, and she said what really helped her was she went through a radical cleanse, some kind of a radical cleanse. I'd be interested to learn more about that, but
Yeah, especially a cleanse that rids your body of malaria, right?
I know, right?
For
So
the,
she went back. So she went back.
aftermath of malaria.
So she was finally well enough to go back to work, and by the time she finally got back, she had been replaced and felt like she wasn't really needed there, but she was still working for them. I mean, I suppose they felt like they couldn't let her go if she didn't want to go. But she was in Africa visiting with some elders of a tribe who were like in their 70s or 80s, and they were telling her about, as recently as 40 years previously, that they were sitting like in the middle of a desert, barren, with no trees, no anything, it was just completely bare. And they had told her 40, that even as 40 years previously, it had been a lush jungle, but it had been deforested and turned into a desert because of what had happened with the deforestation. And she said at that moment she realized that, and of course that's why they were having issues with hunger, because there was no jungle anymore. It was gone. And it was at that moment that she realized that if she could in good conscience leave the Hunger Project and go work for the Pachamama Alliance, because she realized saving the jungle would prevent hunger.
Look at that, you said it right.
What?
You said it right. I was afraid how that was going to come out. Pachamama Alliance.
But I knew you would correct me if I said it wrong. I wasn't worried. But anyway, the way she got involved with the Hunger Project to begin with was because of Buckminster Fuller, and he had I don't know what the word is, a theory or a belief or whatever, what a teaching that he had proven scientifically that the earth was capable of providing for everyone on the planet, that everybody could live abundantly. Nobody needed to starve, nobody needed to go hungry. It was just a matter of dividing the resources. It was a distribution issue, not that the planet couldn't support or provide. So, and that was what got her involved in the Hunger Project to begin with, was that vision. And so, and that's of course the premise of her whole book, The Soul of Money, that there's sufficiency for all of us. It's not a you or me universe, it's a you and me universe. So
and I for me, like I've heard that statistic before, that piece of data before, that there's already enough food produced in the world, not just the ability to produce the food, but there is already the food produced on Earth to feed everybody. But the book for me was more of a tweak on how you view, for me, for how I view like the world and money itself, and what wealth is, and all of that. It was just a real kind of little shake up on that. I thought it was in a really beautiful and positive way too.
Well, what I love about, she said when Buckminster Fuller and her then subsequent boss, who was the EST guy, I can't remember his name. Yeah.
Est, not EST. Est. Yeah.
Werner Eckhart or something, I think was his name.
Yeah.
Is his name? I think he's still alive. But they teamed up to form the Hunger Project, and she went to work for them. But what Bucky had told her was that hunger is actually a two-sided coin. There's a hunger, people who are physically starving without adequate food. But there's also hunger among the first world of people not knowing what their purpose is, or how they can contribute, or how they can leave a legacy. So I thought that was an interesting perspective too. So we actually, by contributing and helping, we're actually fulfilling, which is the premise of her book, Living a Committed Life, is we're actually fulfilling a hunger in ourselves by finding a purpose and something bigger than ourselves that we can contribute to.
Yeah, which makes sense. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
I look forward to that. Yeah, and this is her brand new book.
Right. I'm a little over halfway through it, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and I don't know, it's interesting. Oh, and she's good friends with Van Jones and talks about him quite extensively, and he writes the foreword actually for her, but the guy on CNN.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's our book review for today.
Well, it is good stuff. So
It is
yeah,
good stuff, right?
yeah, all the Lynn Twist stuff is. Anytime we've either read her books, and now we've twice interviewed her on our 6 a.m.ers, on our Compass 6 a.m.ers calls, and every time I'm very, very moved by her, and kind of reinvigorated, and it's very much good stuff.
Mhm. No, she is an inspiration and a role model for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. All right, everybody, have a good week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.